The journey that Kyle started was the result of his dad's death. And they were running together, and Dave collapsed and died. Kyle blamed himself. And we didn't know that for the longest time. He was 13, and when he was 16 is when we found out, Whitney actually found out that he was using.
It was before our dad died. He seemed to be a much different person. He was really outgoing and really happy all the time, full of energy, and just really like carefree and loved his life. And then after our dad died, like Mom said, we didn't know at that time that he blamed himself for his death, but it really changed the course of his life, ours as well, of course, but he took it in a different way. And he said the drugs just helped him feel happy again or more normal, also numb to the pain that he was feeling. And once he started that, it was really just a few years lineage of rehab. He'd be sober for a little while, relapse, back to rehab, maybe jail for a little while, back to rehab, sober, just a cycle of that. But when he was sober, he was more like himself, like the kid that, we knew and loved. He seemed to really love life, and but yeah, that it would inevitably end up with him using again.
Phoenix program was a local one. I think the only local one that he went to. And maybe that's all that there really was. He was in 2 or 3 times, we really can't remember. But he if you enjoy rehab, he liked being local, so he could go to, so we could visit him. And Phoenix program allowed us, after a certain amount of time of him being sober, to pick him up and take him to church, to his home church. And he enjoyed going to the Salvation Army Church too, that Phoenix program would take him to. Something that Phoenix program offered was to allow us to bring him directly from jail to Phoenix program. That was really fantastic. He didn't have to get out and take the risk of using again. He could come right in, and that gave him a good start on a longer time of being sober. It was very generous, we thought.
I got a message on Facebook through his Facebook asking for my mom's phone number. And when I asked what was going on, they said Kyle overdosed. They got him breathing again, and he was headed to the hospital. We found out at that point he had been down for quite a while. So he had significant brain damage from that overdose and spent 6 weeks in the ICU, most of that in a coma. He did eventually wake up, but he was never the same. He knew who we were. He was able to communicate in some ways, but he couldn't talk. He couldn't walk. He couldn't eat or move himself. It was just devastating to see that drugs destroyed the rest of his life.
Life, changed for us all, especially for Kyle. But he continued wanting to live. It was very, very clear. He was devastatingly ill many times in an ICU for weeks at a time, still after. But he had the will. He wanted to live. He could mouth, "I love you," And that was a wonderful day. And he certainly expressed himself.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Yeah, he was
Always
very much
there.
still himself.
Yes.
Just looked different. Everyone these days seems to know someone who has struggled with substance use and how that influences not only the person using, but also their friends and their family. Don't hide it. It's not something that you need to be ashamed of, but there are still people out there who won't understand, but just find people who do, and people who will walk alongside you and encourage you and support you.
We need more rehabs like Phoenix. We need expansion. People need treatment and a safe place to go, somewhere that they can get better, somewhere they can learn how they can get sober, stay sober, and help others be sober.